They buried the Hulk 10 miles underground after his final rampage. His blood was locked in cryogenic vaults, labeled "Do Not Replicate." But last night, those vials began to glow. Every DNA strand started transmitting, like a living radio signal. And somewhere across the world, something green woke up. They said Hulk was gone forever, burned, buried, and erased from every system. But last night, his blood started moving again. It began inside a top-secret base, Echo 9, a vault 10 miles under Nevada. Dr. Kalin was working late, running a routine scan on the frozen vials labeled Bruce Banner, Biohazard, Do Not Replicate. But then the monitor blinked. One drop, just one, lit up green. The frozen blood started pulsing like it was alive again. At first, she thought it was a glitch. Then the entire lab went silent. The heartbeat monitor, once flat, started beeping. Beep, beep, beep. Kalin froze. This can't be possible. The DNA strands on her screen weren't random anymore. They were forming words. Hear me. Suddenly, the power cut out. The glass vials shattered one by one. Green vapor spread through the air, thick, glowing, alive. Kalin ran for the exit, but the blast doors slammed shut. Alarm screamed. Every light in Echo 9 turned emerald. Her computer flickered back on, and a voice, low, deep, mechanical, whispered through the speakers. He still breathes. The sound wave came directly from the DNA itself. The cells were transmitting something, like a radio signal. She activated a frequency map. Coordinates appeared on the screen. Latitude, longitude, altitude. But the last line made her heart stop. Source, external. Cosmic origin confirmed. The base started shaking. The cryo vault melted. Through the glass, Kalin saw the containment chamber turning into a green storm. Metal bent like paper. Machines ripped off the walls. And in the center of it, something began to form. Not a man. Not yet. Just muscle fibers and bones, glowing, assembling themselves out of the air. As if his DNA was rebuilding the Hulk from memory. Kalin hit the distress beacon. Code Gamma. Repeat code Gamma. Her signal reached Avengers Tower. Tony Stark looked up from his holographic display. Impossible. He's dead. But the data feed didn't lie. Banner's DNA had just gone online. Inside Echo 9, Kalin stumbled backward as the creature's shape grew taller. 7 feet, 8, then 10, until it filled the room. Its eyes opened, glowing like molten uranium. It looked at her. No rage. No mercy. Only recognition. Banner, she whispered. The thing tilted its head, then spoke with 2 voices overlapping, one human, one cosmic. Banner's gone. I am the Echo. The floor split beneath her. A shockwave erupted, throwing her across the lab. She hit the wall, barely conscious, watching the monster walk through the metal door like it was paper. Outside, satellites detected a spike in gamma radiation equal to a small nuclear blast. And then, every server on Earth carrying Banner's research received a mysterious transmission. A single encrypted message. The green signal has returned. By morning, all communications from Echo 9 were silent. No survivors. Only a massive crater glowing under the rising sun. The Avengers gathered at the edge. Iron Man scanned the scene, jaw clenched. This isn't resurrection, he muttered. It's evolution. From the crater center, faint gamma ripples pulsed in rhythm. Steady, deliberate, like a heartbeat calling out to space. Thor's eyes narrowed. That sound is not just echoing. He looked up at the stars. It's calling something back. They thought the signal had stopped. They thought the crater was quiet. But deep beneath Echo 9, something was still breathing. At 3:17 a.m., Iron Man's HUD lit up red. Unidentified gamma flare. Origin Earth orbit. He zoomed the feed in. A streak of green lightning was rising from the crater straight into the sky. A beam so powerful it pierced the clouds and disappeared into space. Banner's DNA is transmitting again, Friday warned. Tony whispered. Then who's listening? Across the galaxy, beyond Saturn's rings, a dormant satellite blinked awake for the first time in 40 years. Its name, Project Resurrection Protocol. Banner built it himself after the Sokovia disaster and never told anyone. The satellite's message log played. If I die, my DNA will seek balance. It will rebuild what was lost. Tony's face drained of color. He built a backup of himself. Meanwhile, down on Earth, something clawed out of the crater. Its skin shimmered like liquid metal, veins pulsing neon green. It wasn't Banner. It wasn't Hulk. It was the merge of both, a being built from code, memory, and rage. Kalen's voice cracked through the Avengers' comms. I saw it. It rebuilt itself from light. The DNA used radiation as fuel. The being lifted its head, eyes blazing brighter than the sun. And when it spoke, the ground trembled. I am the remainder of Hulk. I am what you tried to destroy. Then, boom, a shockwave ripped through Nevada, shattering windows 30 miles away. The Avengers launched into action. Thor swung Stormbreaker. Iron Man deployed gamma dampeners. And Captain Marvel streaked across the sky like a meteor. But the thing didn't attack. It absorbed everything they threw at it. Lightning, plasma, energy beams, gone, sucked into its body. Iron Man cursed. It's feeding on us. Thor growled. It does not fight, it consumes. In seconds, the desert began to twist. Sand fusing into glass. Trees burning without flame. The air vibrating like a living frequency. Tony scanned again. It's not fighting to win. It's sending data. The gamma energy is a carrier signal. Across the planet, every inactive Stark satellite lit up with the same wave pattern. The Hulk's DNA was using them to send a global broadcast. Frequency, 40.0 gigahertz. Destination, unknown. Response time, for minutes. Friday spoke calmly, too calmly. Sir, something has responded. In orbit, the Resurrection satellite began unfolding, its panels spreading open like wings. Inside, a biological core came alive, dripping green plasma into space. The signal merged with the core, and suddenly, from inside the satellite, a shape began forming. The readings showed genetic match, Hulk, 93.7% similarity. Iron Man's voice dropped. It's cloning him. Captain Marvel, then we stop it now. She rocketed upward, punching through the stratosphere. The energy trail lit the sky, pure gold against the darkness. But as she neared the satellite, it changed shape. Not metal anymore. Flesh, muscle, eyes. A giant hand reached out from orbit, glowing veins wrapping around her. You cannot destroy evolution. Her scream echoed through the comms as a massive gamma blast hurled her back to Earth. Thor caught her mid-fall, her armor smoking. She gasped, it's not just him anymore, it's multiplying. Iron Man's AI displayed dozens of dots across the radar. Gamma signatures detected worldwide. Estimated 43 and rising. The clones were appearing everywhere. Tokyo, Moscow, New York, Lagos. Each one radiating identical frequency patterns. Each one connected by the same heartbeat signal. The world was watching live feeds, green lights rising from oceans and cities, forming human-shaped silhouettes that stepped out of the glow. Panic spread faster than news. The public thought Hulk had returned. The Avengers knew better. This wasn't resurrection. This was replication. At the Avengers Command Center, Stark replayed Banner's old voice logs. If I ever lose control, the cure won't be bullets or bombs. It'll be understanding. Hulk isn't my curse. He's my signal. Tony slammed his fist on the console. Understanding doesn't stop extinction. He zoomed in on the cosmic data feed and froze. The returning signal wasn't just a reply. It was a summon. Something was coming from deep space, following the DNA's coordinates home. Tony, Natasha whispered, what's out there? He stared at the screen. A colossal gamma storm moving through the void, shaped like a human silhouette the size of a moon. The source, Tony said quietly. Banner didn't just send his DNA into space. He connected with something ancient. The readings pulsed one final time, and across every monitor, one message appeared in glowing green letters. The Creator approaches. The sky turned green. Not just the desert sky, the whole planet. Every satellite feed went offline. Every radar went blind. And then space itself started to move. From orbit, NASA's deep field cameras caught the first frame. A colossal object emerging from behind Saturn, wrapped in living gamma light. Not metal, not rock. It was alive. A shape, humanoid, its eyes glowing like twin emerald suns. The readings went insane. Energy levels far beyond any weapon ever measured. "It's not a planet," Tony whispered. "It's him." The object was orbiting with purpose. Every few seconds, it pulsed, sending green waves toward Earth. Each pulse matched one thing exactly: Hulk's heartbeat. Thor's voice thundered. The stars answer him now. The thing's energy hit the atmosphere. And all around the world, Hulk clones roared in unison, 43 monsters screaming to the sky. Their chests glowed in rhythm with the cosmic pulse. Thump, 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 thump. The entire planet was now beating like one heart. Inside Avengers Tower, Iron Man zoomed in on the waveform. Those clones aren't random. They're antennas. The DNA turned them into transmitters. Captain Marvel clenched her fists. Then what's receiving it? The answer came seconds later. The clouds over New York twisted open like a green hurricane. Lightning rained downward, but every bolt hit the same point: Stark Tower. The tower's core reactor lit up, feeding off cosmic radiation. Friday screamed, energy overload in all systems, core temperature rising beyond containment. Tony barely managed to stabilize it before it exploded. But the data streaming through the servers spelled it out in gamma-green code. The link is complete. In the ruins of Echo 9, Dr. Kalin survived barely. Her face burned, her hands shaking as she activated her recorder. It's not a resurrection signal. It's migration. Banner's DNA isn't rebuilding the Hulk. It's inviting the source of the gamma field itself. A shadow passed above her. She looked up and saw it. A massive rift opening in the clouds. From within, an enormous green beam descended, thicker than a skyscraper, tearing through the desert and carving molten rivers into the earth. Inside the beam, something was falling. A body, 10 stories tall, human shape, radiating pure energy. When it hit the ground, the shock wave flattened everything within 50 miles. The being stood, muscles glowing like magma veins. Its voice rolled like thunder. "I am the first. I am the source of rage." Back at Avengers HQ, Stark scanners identified it instantly. Genetic composition: 78% Hulk DNA. Age unknown. Location of origin: planet Sakaar. Thor's eyes widened. That is no child of Earth. That is the one the elders spoke of, the World Breaker. Iron Man cursed. Banner's DNA didn't just evolve, it called home the god of Gamma. Within minutes, the creature began reshaping the desert around it. Sand turned into crystal. Rocks melted into pulsating, green liquid. The clones marched toward it, bowing like soldiers to their general. Each one stepped into the liquid, merging with the mass. The being's body grew larger, its veins brighter, until it towered above the clouds. Every screen on Earth flickered with one line of text: Planet Hulk online. The Avengers prepared for war. Hulkbusters reactivated. Asgardian armor gleamed. And Tony, exhausted, whispered to himself, he built his own planet from our world. From above, Captain Marvel shouted, "Then we end it before it breathes." She charged straight into orbit, glowing like a golden comet, and vanished into the beam. For a few seconds, everything went silent. Then the beam pulsed once more, and Carol Danvers' voice came through, distorted, weak, terrified. "He's not alone." Static swallowed her transmission. A second rift opened behind the first, this one massive, swirling with red light. Through it stepped something bigger, not of flesh, but energy and bone. A silhouette shaped like Banner, but forged from cosmic flame. Thor's grip tightened around Stormbreaker. "If that is what comes next," he said, "Midgard will not survive dawn." The sky split apart completely. Earth's atmosphere began to tremble. And from the beam, a final message echoed through every frequency, across every screen, into every mind. The creator has arrived. Earth wasn't blue anymore. It was glowing green. The sky itself looked radioactive. And the Avengers were out of time. Iron Man's armor was cracked. Captain Marvel was missing. Thor stood silent on the edge of the crater that used to be Nevada. Below them, the World Breaker, the source of rage, was building something. A living gamma reactor, pulsing like a second heart inside the planet. Tony's voice came through the static. If that thing finishes its core, the Earth becomes its battery. He opened a hidden drive inside his suit. A file Banner gave him years ago. Reverse protocol, do not activate. Inside was a genetic cipher, Banner's failsafe. If I lose control, Banner's recording said, there's a key buried inside my DNA. A code that can reverse the transformation. But to trigger it, they'd need a living piece of Banner's human tissue. Only one existed. Cryo Chamber C-17, buried under the old Avengers Tower. Tony stared at the coordinates. Then that's where I'm going. He blasted off, engine screaming, flames cutting through the green sky. Thor called out, "You cannot face him alone." Tony shouted back, "I don't have to win. I just have to wake up what's left of Banner." The air trembled as the World Breaker looked up, eyes glowing brighter. It spoke with the voices of thousands of clones at once. "There is no Banner, only the signal." And from its chest, a green beam ripped upward, tracking Tony like a guided spear. The armor screamed warnings. Integrity, 23%, 12%, 5%. Tony dived into the wreckage of the tower, slamming into the ground. He dragged himself to the vault. Frost covered the cryo chamber. Inside floated a single sliver of spinal tissue, human, fragile, still. "Come on, Bruce," he whispered. "Time to take your life back." He plugged the DNA into the gauntlet port and uploaded the reversal code. The sequence glowed red, then flickered green. The air shimmered. He looked up and saw the monster standing right outside the broken wall, blocking out the sun. It bent low, voice like thunder and grief combined. "You try to fix what was never broken." Tony raised the gauntlet, light blazing from his chest. "Yeah, but I fix things for a living." He fired the code beam straight into the creature's heart. The impact ripped through the sky. For a moment, the world turned white. Then, nothing. Smoke. Silence. When the dust cleared, the Hulk-like Titan was on its knees, trembling. Its body flickered between flesh and energy. Half human, half void. And then, for the first time, it spoke softly. "Tony." Stark froze. "Banner." The giant's expression twisted. Pain, confusion, memory. "You shouldn't have brought me back." Suddenly, its eyes flared again, pure emerald fire. The code wasn't stopping the transformation, it was amplifying it. Tony's system screamed. Reversal loop detected, signal feedback engaged. Banner's human DNA had merged with a cosmic gamma core. The reversal code was rewriting reality itself. Thor roared from above. He is tearing the world apart from the inside. Stark's HUD turned to static. His voice cracked. "No, he's rewriting it." A shockwave burst from Hulk's body, but instead of destruction, it spread calm. The clones froze mid-roar. The energy beams faded. Every satellite went silent. Hulk looked at Tony one last time, eyes flickering human for a second. Tell them it wasn't rage. It was protection. Then, with a single heartbeat, the World Breaker absorbed the entire gamma core into himself and exploded into a column of light that shot straight through the atmosphere and vanished into space. The ground cooled. The skies turned blue again. Thor landed beside the crater, whispering, "Is it over?" Tony stood silent, armor steaming. He looked up at the fading green glow in the clouds. "No," he said quietly. "He's not gone. He's becoming something else." The Earth was quiet again. For the first time in years, no gamma storms, no alarms, no monsters. Only silence. But silence doesn't mean peace. Sometimes, it's the pause before the next heartbeat. In the Arctic, beneath miles of ice, a faint green glow pulsed rhythmically. One heartbeat. Then another. Then stronger. The scanners in the Avengers satellite picked it up immediately. Tony's AI read the pattern aloud. Pulse sequence identical to Banner's. Life signs confirmed. Thor whispered, "He lives." The world called it a miracle. News anchors hailed Hulk as the savior who ended the Gamma Plague. Governments started rebuilding. But Tony wasn't celebrating. He stood alone in the wreckage of Echo 9, staring at the cracked ground. He replayed the last seconds before Hulk's disappearance. That moment, Banner's voice. It wasn't rage. It was protection. "What were you protecting, Bruce?" Tony muttered. Then Friday's voice cut through the static. "Sir, incoming transmission origin. Polar coordinates." A hologram flickered alive. Static, green, unstable. And then came the voice. Banner's voice. "Tony, if you're hearing this, it means the reversal code worked. But not the way I expected." Tony's heart froze. The hologram continued. "I realized something in those final seconds. Gamma isn't destruction. It's communication. The rage was a language. And something out there was listening." The feed glitched. Lightning cracked across the frozen sky. Banner's face reappeared, older, calmer, glowing faintly with green energy. "I stopped the source, but I couldn't kill it. So I became part of it. Don't come looking for me, Tony. Because if you find me, you'll find them." Static. Then silence. 2 weeks later, strange phenomena began near the Arctic Circle. Magnetic field spiking. Aurora lights shifting in geometric patterns. And in the center of the ice shelf, the faint outline of a massive figure, frozen beneath the surface. Smiling. Thor's hammer trembled. Captain Marvel's energy reading spiked. Tony stared through the holographic projection and whispered, "He's not trapped in the ice. He's charging." Suddenly, Friday detected a gamma surge, so small it barely registered. But it came from deep beneath the surface. Frequency. Identical to Banner's DNA. Morse pattern translation. One word. Begin. The monitors went black. And across the globe, from city lights to satellite orbits, tiny green sparks flickered for half a second, as if every electrical system in the world had blinked alive. The Avengers gathered on the deck of the rebuilt tower. No words, just the sound of the wind. Tony finally spoke. Banner didn't die a monster. He evolved into the signal. Thor looked toward the northern sky, where a faint green shimmer glowed over the horizon. Captain Marvel clenched her fist. Then what now? Tony watched the lights pulse in the same rhythm as a heartbeat, and whispered, "Now we wait for what answers back. The end. Or maybe the beginning."